be just resting his eyes, I hope. But yeah, can be flexed, and we'll see where that does end up. I don't think that's a reaction to the pick, so don't read too much into that. But yeah, now it's up to T1 to decide, okay, what do we have to play into TF in the top lane? What will be good? And, you know, what are we blinding this time for mid? As Talia is going to be the option for mid. If it does end up with mid TF, Talia can kind of follow. Obviously not as fast as the TF can roam, though.
Ooh. Keen played this. Did not do great. Didn't matter at all. Got targeted out by the enemy. Was completely irrelevant to the game because the rest of the map state was being won really hard by GENG. Tristan top coming through here for Zeus. A lot of safety for this pick. Do love Talia into Kalista specifically. Feel like it takes away so much of the agency and space. Playing Kalista into Poppy Talia, good luck on that one. Not a fun matchup to play whatsoever. And this is really interesting. Chovy, although we do know how good he is on the Ahri, also opting to pick it into, again, the Talia I'm okay with. We've talked a lot about the fact that you have so much mobility on Ahri that you can kind of circumvent the way that Talia plays the game. But if you add a Poppy to that, I feel like the zone control for T1 is incredible. T1 must be feeling a lot better here, although there are still, I think, some of the same hallmarks of if you do fall behind with this composition, it becomes really hard to play out. That said, though, this time it's the same for GENG. If your Kalista lane really doesn't get going early, maybe you can win through the TF and the gold that he generates on the map, but it's hard to imagine that working against the amount of backline dive that T1 have available.
Yeah. The pick potential of GENG is kind of obnoxious, let's say, in this one. One gold card could lead to a Rel engage, a handshake, an Ahri charm, a Kalista play of some sort. So certainly target acquisition not going to be too difficult for the side of GENG. If they can start things off on their terms, it could be nice for them, as T1 might just want to play this one as a death ball, try to keep your 280 carry safe with all the zone control they have.
GENG up 1-0. A lot of agency. They didn't need it, but this time the draft gives them even more. Let's see if they can repeat it here in game number 2.
Game number 2 starts right now.
T1, 하나, 둘, 셋.
T1, fighting!
GENG, 하나, 둘, 셋.
GENG, fighting!
Game number 2. And I really hope that we go to game 3, because if this is a 2-0 stomp from GENG, I mean, all power to them. A great team. I'm sure they'll deserve it, but that does deny us from the action we were looking
not what
for.
we want.
We don't want a 2-0 stomp. We kind of wanted this to be a back-and-forth close battle. Already game 1 was like a 27-minute stomp fest with 0 kills to T1. So, hoping for a bit of a closer game, at least for game 2 to start, although
it can't be as bad as game number 1, right? Valdez?
That was looking a little bit scary, but Owner is going to read the situation and back away. I thought maybe they were going to get caught there, but doesn't amount to too much. Canyon, though, maybe trying to invade here. Looks like it.
Do want to highlight as well that Keen has gone for exhaust here. Obviously, Zeus gonna be very happy, try and look for these early all-ins. Tristana in general, until you get to the later stage of the game, really gonna be reliant on jumping on top of you to both win trades and look for all-in windows. As Canyon is gonna be able to steal this away early on. Whoa, I don't know. Owner will definitely know. They are gonna run into one another now.
Yeah. He is Rel, and could potentially try to fight for this one, but he is in the enemy jungle, so pretty dangerous. And Owner's just chasing him down. He's just saying, no, I will win this fight, and he will. In a very long lane, quote-unquote, that is the jungle. But Canyon is just going to get away here to the disengage cone and threaten it, and in fact disengage over to his blue.
Big thing there is that Owner doesn't have red buff, So it's really hard to maintain a consistent level of sticking power, and it's also rel. So yes, Poppy has a lot of potential damage, but you are really relying on hitting your stun. And the bot lane was not winning in the early prior war, which isn't surprising given that it's Kalista and Renata. But it does mean that you do struggle in trying to extend this chase. So Owner will be answering back as we do look at the win rate, unsurprisingly for Kalista, looking quite good thus far in Spring.
Yep. Our Kalista players here in the LCK are top tier. Just excellent at this pick in general. And a lot of big names there on that list in the 7-game winning streak. Just Fate itself in the top lane alone is 7-1. Only Dindin falling on this pick.
Keen has also been the guy that has been playing this the most as, ooh, Canyon, I think a little afraid there that he was going to get the reset on the patience, but now a large part of his jungle has been taken away. This did cost a lot of time for Owner, though, who is still level 2.
Yeah, Canyon's going to be like, this is weird. To find you here at level 2 after taking my jungle away.
He doesn't have top prio, though. Might be having early skirmish. Trophy's on his way.
Smite comes in, but a double knockup now on both of the T1 members. Double stun as well as the cleanse is utilized by Zeus to get away. But still a win here for the side of GenG in the 2v2 as Flash, a handshake is going to miss. As Guma just dashes away from that one. Cleanse utilized here from Paze. They're trying to get on top of this Nami, but Paze getting pretty low. Still going in on this one as the bailout is available, and he will get it as First Blood goes to Paze, and he's looking for a bit more as the double hit from the Lucian is enough to take it out, and Guma just barely... Oh no, he dashes back in, and LeagueofLegends is going to pick up the kill.
When that started out, you look at it and you go, oh, Pace, my boy, what are you doing? But the bailout value initially looks to be enough. It did feel like they could have maybe backed off after that, and they didn't, and neither did Guma. A multi-man fight to the death, the brawling in bot lane coming through big, but it's GenG that ends up being the big victor. A kill and assist for both Pace and LeagueofLegends. Whereas, yeah, Guma picked up a kill himself as well, and this is able to pick up most of this wave. As we take another looker, this is why Renata or Kalista, one of the two generally always gets banned away, because you can see here as well the confidence. Great cleanses here from either side, and Pace's health bar is but an illusion. It's not real. He knows that he will get plenty of extra time, has the spear stacked, and then this is where I'm like, you can also just back off. And they thought that with LeagueofLegends' handshake, they would actually have it. And Guma's dash in there is also because they're LeagueofLegends is tanking the entire wave. But that doesn't really excuse the fact that LeagueofLegends, I think even in the worst case scenario, probably would have traded. Even a couple of minion orders, I think, might have done it there. And that was, again, a win in the bot lane for GenG and an early Drake going over to them.
Yeah. And this is the second time now that that has happened. So Guma's reaction, he was not happy with himself after that, as, okay, it's a bit of damage.
Just a bit.
Pace, yeah. As he has gone for Q-Max here. Already 2 levels in it at level 4. Owner is waiting for a bit of a gank. All summoners down in the bottom side. This is going to be pretty rough for Pace, but do they have the chasing power? Nice bubble here on a Pace, but again, I mean, you're not really doing much here, level 4 as Poppy, so not going to be able to extend that trade.
Also say the jungle farm has actually equalized here. Yeah, Halo Blades, early Dirk, as well as the Q-Max, as you mentioned, the poke from Hayes. Absolutely lethal, sets up for these type of all-ins. Due to Pace, Dying Lands also has an experience lead, which we don't see too often, but feels very fitting for the relationship that we've seen between Pace and LeagueofLegends, where it's LeagueofLegends just chastising him for, no, come on, Pace, you gotta do better.
Yeah.
Gotta step it up. And we do see a lot of early attention here, because unlike the previous game, it is in the it's of the utmost importance for both of these two lanes that they generate early leads, because whichever bot lane falls behind isn't gonna have a great time. And in his case, he just generally isn't gonna have a great time because he's playing Kalista into Poppy and Talia as another attempt at a play here. This time, Zeus has Flash, ult, and his Tristana. And he's not having any of it.
Yeah. He doesn't have cleanse, but he just got it. So After all that, should be able to just cleanse a gold card and then hop away. I don't imagine this should have much success. Chovy's going to get caught in the river, has to dash away from this one. Does go back into Owner, trying to bait this fight out, as Owner will take a massive amount of damage. The true shot as well, but Zeus is going to win the 1v1 in the top lane, so now T1 looking to continue on this one. Zeus is going to hop away, and now Canyon in a really rough spot. Has to flash, but doesn't have any follow-up in terms of damage. He's going to go down as well. That's a very nice charm here from Chovy, trying to buy himself some time. Seismic Shove is going to be critical here from Faker, as he's just going to get the flash out of Chovy. A big win for T1 in the trade on the top side of the map.
Really necessary for T1, with the bot lane already taking quite a big beating from this Kalista Renata, that they couldn't afford to, like in game 1, lose the top side. And this time the gambit works. Zeus finds the all-in on Keen, ends up going down, and Canyon as a result also taken out. This time T1 really ready for the response with that play, even with Chovy roaming over. No opportunity for GENG to really collapse on Zeus, playing much more careful than game number 1. I imagine that the coaches had some choice words for him after playing it fast and loose with the Jace, as we do take another look here. Keen, the 1v1 never really where you're going to excel in this situation as the TF. Also, maybe if you're able to get the exhaust on, specifically the explosion, could have been the difference maker. Not going to be the case, then Canyon, just let the flash go. It's a poppy. You're not going to be able to get the damage there, unfortunately. Chovy can't make it over because of the stones and because of the threat of Zeus. And Faker also able to get the flash out of Chovy as well. So now the game state still in favor of GENG,
yeah,
but much more equal than it was before.
Yeah, it's a nice little fight back from T1 to try to get this back at parity, but as you mentioned, you know, with the TF in the top lane, yes, he died, but he's still going to be ahead in gold, I would imagine, just because of his passive. Also, the mid lane going pretty heavily in terms of CS towards the side of Chovy. LeagueofLegends bubbled up. Doesn't have a care in the world, it seems. Guma really wanted to take that ward away, but he will not be able to. The pressure in the bottom side from GENG's bot lane still doing a great job.
Drakes are going to be the big thing here. A lot of very, very great Drakes have already been taken away. We don't have the possibility for Hextech, don't have the possibility for Infernal. Orcs has been holding strong, so I don't think it'll be a
So
Hextech.
far.
So far.
Such.
He wouldn't let us down in game 2.
Yeah, surely. I have a little bit less faith than you do, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. And level 6 hit for everyone down here. So culling is going to be big, but at the same time, the ability to go for a big hostile takeover, a handshake, you know, stuff like that. Chovy is going to be forced to Spirit Rush away here. Just trying to be aggressive in the enemy jungle. Now trying to put down some damage. Now we have this trade down in the bottom side. Big chunk done to LeagueofLegends and Pays.
That's big. Might be enough, unless someone on T1 mid position, to get them the Drake. No ult on Chovy. Pays on LeagueofLegends already taken very low. Looks like GENG still wants to look for a contest. Faker's a little bit low on mana, but outside of that, he's going to get a ton of build-out value here if they want to win.
Oh, LeagueofLegends, he is going to dodge that bubble, and now the engage comes in with the Magnet Storm, but they're so low on the side of GENG. Owner, though, is being chipped away. The Fate's Call is going to get that kill onto Owner here, as now Faker's getting pretty low himself, but Canyon went so deep for that play, as eventually Faker will be taken out. Chovy still no ultimate ability, so he will go down as well. Zeus makes his way down, and that should be T1's Dragon to take.
Dragon is going to go over. GENG do have a counterpunch on the other end of the map, but a much more even trade compared to last time. Big as well. It's also that another kill went over to LeagueofLegends. And if Chovy had his ultimate available, that could have been a very different fight. But the fact that they went for it in the first place is kind of crazy, given the health bars. But they have the confidence. The handshake is nice. The double knockup, absolutely pivotal there. And Guma and Keria are not really in the position to do a lot of damage there. Hayes, even with the threat of the rocks, still is able to get some damage going, and then Zeus shows up. It's like, guys, I was promised there was a party. Where is my party? Guma almost ends up going down. The Drake doesn't end up coming through. But unlike any of the previous plays, yes, the Drake went over, as we do have a Cloud Soul. Very happy about that.
Nice.
Keen did just get, like, what, 3 blades in topside, and I think he was also behind in CS to a certain extent, going to be feeling a lot better as Pace actually went opportunity first. I hadn't discussed this yet, but kind of out there. Don't think that I've seen this yet. Lethality, like, it's mostly just early Dirk, and then you go towards the Norma Kalista items.
When you don't want to play Varus, I guess just do this. But Guma gets in with the culling. He is going to kind of miss it as they go into the river. Here comes Chovy. They have a Rel behind them as well. Charm could be huge if he hits it. There it is, onto Owner. He's in a lot of trouble, but the stun for the Rel is going to miss. It will not matter as Pace takes him down in the 4v3 that was set up nicely here from GENG. Getting in once again with that one against the flash out of Guma. And man, GENG's getting so much value out of this play on the bottom side of the map.
Keen's roaming as well. Faker was looking for a possible ult angle. Doesn't have level 2 of the ultimate just yet. And the fight was already kind of lost, so there wasn't really an opportunity for T1 to try and collapse on that. We'll see if Keen ends up ulting back towards the top side of the map, because Zeus is going to make this turret disappear. It's a great magic trick. I know he's playing against TF, but I'm sure he has something to say about him on. Yeah, there is the ultimate, as expected. Don't want to give over too much free gold to Tristana, but a big win for GENG in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see now a 2,000 gold lead in favor of GENG. And Owner's down on the bottom side of the map. He's like, hey, maybe I can do something in the face of 8 wards in his vicinity. But still going to make his presence known. At least gives his bottom lane time to clear the wave and back. But we'll take another look, rather, at how this is set up.
The confidence of T1 to try and fight into this Kalista Renata is admirable, but Chovy is so far ahead of the curve here. I really don't think that they expected him to already be in a position. Completely catches T1 off guard, and with the RE there, the extended trades are really strong. So Zeus just walks it off. Not too bothered by that.
Yeah, I mean, the Tristana, you can see many of the different ways that it has a nice matchup into the TF. You can take cleanse as well, but also you can just, if the gold card gets fired, you just hop away, and then you have some nice distance. And you can cleanse if anyone else is there.
Also Wend Call, which, when you think about it, is just like buying a TF passive. It's not as good.
Yeah.
But it helps a little bit.
Budget TF passive.
You don't feel like you're getting hustled quite as much.
It's better than not having a call, I'd say, especially in that top lane that has been mostly just farming and clearing waves.
It also looks like in one game we're going to get both Twisted Fate and Twisted Flution. The Atlas Invention coming through.
Oh
Guma going
so cursed.
for Shiv first, RFC second. Canyon, they're trying to do the same thing, but it's...
Yeah.
Guys, I get that you want to, but Zeus is very clearly playing a lot more respectful, and he's also Tristana.
It's kind of funny that we saw the biggest gold gap was in the support role, as LeagueofLegends has 2 kills, 3 assists, no deaths.
Wait, they also have double Knights. GENG's really just, this item's broken. We're gonna buy it on as many people as possible. So,
Ow.
both Pace as well as Keen are protected by their respective Knights, as we might have a fight for Herald here, Valdez.
Yeah, kind of an interesting one. Zeus did pick up his first item, so maybe just trying to utilize the Tristana value, but the cleanse forced out already. And a knock away from Owner, but the timing is totally off. I mean, look at this. Now, Chovy can re-engage. They get the flash out of Keen, but total control of the river right now does go towards GENG, and Chovy is not done with this yet. Rocks on cooldown at the moment for Faker, so Chovy just gets to dash around and have some fun. And yeah, that's easily going to go into the hands of GENG.
With the health bars low, T1 might have preferred to back off and save their TP, because both Chovy and Faker TP'd. Gonna be feeling great for GENG, because they did actually get the Herald.
No!
Nah, surely that was on purpose,
Not
right?
like this, Canyon.
Canyon!
Yeah, that's...
That was not on purpose, Chad. We know.
Oh, there's a wall coming out here as Faker trying to make a play. He wants to make a difference in this game. And he's just gonna sling some rocks at LeagueofLegends. No! He gets away! On basically no health, as yes, he did have to flash, but Faker's gonna be kicking himself for that one.
We're getting a back and forth game, fellas. That's all I can ask for. A lot of frustration, I imagine, for either of these teams, as Pace has just seemed to accept Varus is not cool anymore. Kalista is Varus, but with a utility ult. We're gonna make it work. Ghostblade now done as well, and outside of Poppy, there isn't a lot of tankiness as Canyon might look for a steal.
Now let's see if he can get it. Yes, he
He's
can.
Rel!
It's Rel! How many times do we have to see this? Keria also isolated, free kill for him. Zeus, meanwhile, yes, he will take the turret, but GenG, they're stacking Drakes. They are winning these fights, and they're continuing to put pressure on this map.
Pace going to be at the very least doing a lot of damage. Guma, I think, should be able to clear the wave here. But it is a cannon minion.
Pace does not care. Imagine if that Q hit. The damage is, let's say, off the chain.
It's problematic
Let's
for,
use that.
for T1. It's great for GenG, who now did lose the topside turret, which I think is why the gold is still feeling relatively even. But the map control, you'd much rather have that mid lane turret. 2 Drake lead here for GenG because Canyon is Rel, and as you pointed, I feel like it's not a flip if you're playing in the Rel. It just isn't. It's heavily weighted towards the Rel. There was a small moment there where it went down to, I think, like 100, but obviously the Rel always going to have the advantage as he gets to time the smite with the exact timing of the Q.
I think Jonas Strong just figured out that a double Knight's Vow. And, I mean, you might as well. You've technically got 280 carries with the TF, so
You
why
do.
not? Yeah. It feels pretty good. They had the Corki in the first game, which is not really an 80 carry, but a similar role, I suppose. Handshake, oh boy, Keria just caught out here once again. Guma just gonna put some damage in. Well, Hen's relatively tanky with this itemization, so.
Yeah, because of the combination of, like, he's Mercs, Knight's Vow, Kindle Gem, and Slay, so it actually is a pretty beefy Renata this time around. And it forces the flash out of Keria, making him much more susceptible to a possible engage. Or perhaps even Keen jumping on top of him out of nowhere. Chovy did get spotted there on the ward. And the third Drake fight, as it often is, I think is going to be a major breakpoint here. If GenG are able to get that one as well, Cloud Soul with things like Rel and TF and Ari is going to be feeling really good as the wall.
Yeah, they're just trying to open up this mid lane and look for a play onto the turret. That's a knock-up on a Canyon. The max range seismic shove as the bailout doesn't do anything. It's a kill for Zeus. And just like that, they are going to clear the wave, so no turret does go down just yet. And in fact, Keen did get a turret on the bot side of a map. So now Chovy coming on in, using the end of his Spirit Rush just to push them away.
Little attempt of GenG there
Baron.
is that T1 do pivot. Oh!
20-minute Baron.
The T1 Baron, it started up. Keen has his ultimate available. The teleport getting invested.
Double 80 carry is going to do a nice amount of damage to this, but it's just so early. I mean, this is very risky from the side of T1. It is very T1-esque, but GenG not to be failed. And as you mentioned, the Destiny spots them all and makes this very easy. You can't back there. Okay, they're just going to fight it, I guess. Fate's Call utilized. The Tidal Wave does get a lot of value in this jungle. And it is a 4v5 here for GenG. Flash forward as gets stunned on the rocks at least, but Chovy will avoid his death. As GenG pushed them away, but it was kind of close there.
With no cleanse, if Keen had flashed there, I'm pretty sure Guma would have ended up dying. Was very close at the end. T1 trying to take some liberties with their back timings. GenG still looking, not going to go one way or the other. Did force out the teleport, or the ultimate rather. As we take another look here, one of the big things with Rel and how tanky she gets, and why I think Canyon feels like he can go, is because of if you hit people with skills, you are basically unkillable. If you don't, and you don't proc your Aftershock, you do go down very rapidly. This from T1, definitely optimistic. My main point of contention with this, that they invested Faker's teleport, and that feels a little bit rough to me.
Oh, we got some fights in live. It is Canyon in a lot of trouble once again. Has to flash the wall. Nice little pick from the set of T1, but flash forward here. No cleanse onto Guma. He is in so much trouble, and down he goes. Pace gonna get that one. Keen nearly takes, or Zeus rather, nearly takes out Canyon. But Chovy gonna win the 1v1 here against Faker, and Zeus is so far behind enemy lines. T1 so broken up in this fight, and immediately GenG gonna capitalize on that one. A triple kill for Pace.
4 for 0! That's gonna be Nash! GenG go for a brawling composition, and brawl they do. That's going to set up perfectly as well. They will get the empowered backs, make their way back, and it starts in an attempted pick onto Canyon. This time he does get to proc his Aftershock does stay alive, and then Keen, again, Guma, he doesn't have cleanse. Doesn't have it available. It was used in the previous skirmish, so when Keen hits, LeagueofLegends knows he can follow up. Chovy doing so much work in the backline, winning that 1v1.
Yeah, the 1v1 was critical. Like, Faker did 0 in that fight. And Chovy had obviously a lot more Spirit Rush after he picks up the kill. The angle from Keen was perfect with the flash on in. Identifies that Guma does not have his cleanse and makes quick work of that. And Gen.G just wiped them off the map with one fell swoop. The game was kind of close before that. And with double AD carry on the side of T1, you could say maybe, but Gen.G now very much in control of this game.
This is like so monkey's paw. You're like, oh, I wish Seus had a much better game. Well, he did. Outside of that, though, the key thing to me is that T1, when they have been at leads, they've been, I think, by far our most overpowering team. You know, they've been stompy as hell. But it's easy to forget that against Gen.G, getting early game leads is quite tough. And when it comes to team fighting, Gen.G haven't really met their match. And in this series, I don't think they have either. I think that with the Soul going, or rather the Soul Point going over to Gen.G, them getting
the Baron
this early a Baron, Pays has Edge of Night as well. Chovy, who isn't even remotely the focal point of this composition, quietly as he does, is monstrously fed. Gen.G are about to just 2-0 T1, and Gen.G winning shouldn't be a surprise, given how good this team is domestically, but in this fashion, I am a bit baffled, Feldes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new year, a new roster. They look stronger than ever, and T1 have not matched them at all today. Was thinking that maybe in this early to mid-game we had a bit of a challenge. Nice 3-man knockback here as LeagueofLegends and Keen are in a bit of trouble. Kennemin's going to help block some of that culling, and they do get pushed away for now, but Gen.G's still in the driver's seat.
Last game, it was just a jungle gap. This time around, it's as if Gen.G is just able to play better around the power of this Renata. And the bot lane in particular, I would not have expected Pays and LeagueofLegends to get the upper hand, but in this game, they really have. The Baron buff about to time out, but the Red Bull Baron power play still 3k here, full map control. And map control with an Ahri that's up a level, and up a kill and a bunch of CS and a TF. You're gonna be feeling quite good.
This time there's just not enough damage. Zunner doesn't do much. I mean, he does have a Sunfire. Don't let Ox hear me. But yeah, just not enough even in the 2v1. And Gen.G just gonna utilize the end of the Baron buff and back away. It's 6,000 gold plus for the side of Gen.G in terms of the lead. Pays is immensely fed. We have Chovy even going for the Banshee Veil next, just in case. Doesn't want to get picked off as he is level 16, the highest level by far, 2 levels ahead of both solo laners on the side of T1. And I don't think anyone's ever going to match him in this game, unless it goes very late, which Gen.G don't seem to have any intention of letting this one go much later.
Don't think they should, as the gold will equalize eventually. The shredding of resistances might be an owner.
He's just going to try to run through this one. He does have to utilize his flash. But, yeah, now a wall comes down here. That's, yeah, Faker's just probably dead here, in a ton of trouble. He will flash and immediately dies. Looking for an opportunistic angle, but it's actually Chovy who has found the angles so much more often in this game. Gen.G get the pick.
Chovy's charms, man. Second time he charms Faker off the wall that I have noticed in this game. And Faker was looking to hop. You can, with the Taliyah, hop back towards your turret. You can hop over small walls. But Chovy just perfectly knocks him out of it. Rather charms him out of it. Takes him down. That's going to be the inhib gone. Yes, it's mid inhib, which is the least bad of inhibs to lose. But that's when we're saying stuff like that, Velbus, you know that the game state is not looking too hot.
And there's another kill, and live it looks like Owner is just dead. And we're going to skip out of that replay. You know, we wished for a close series, but instead it's Gen.G just absolutely pummeling them to the ground. It just ends up being
not even close.
Not much of a competitive game or series at all. And You know,
this.
I'm sorry it's not more hype, but I guess we just got to bask in the glory. Yeah, this charm. The timing, it's also max range. I mean, Faker's like, yeah, I can probably do this, hop over, it'll be fine. And yeah, to be fair, he's on the wall in a straight line, but the timing of it is just immaculate. And I think, you know, Chronicler, you were just a little bit ahead of your time with your Chovy vote in game 1. I think you can do it in this game as well.
Are you giving me the bailout?
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I'm the Renata Glask in this game. For you.
Oh, for me. I appreciate it, Valdez. Right now, T1, anything short of a miracle was not going to keep them in this game. QSS bot for Keen.
Yeah, Guma. Yeah. Oh boy.
Good.
Yeah, they're making this one hurt as well. I mean, the teleport from behind Chovy's like, okay, Chronicler, I see you. I'll make sure that you can vote for me in game 2. We've had a lot of games go very long in this meta nowadays, and it might be 2 games under 30 minutes.
Isn't like Pazer Lahens though? I feel like they did such a good job. Is this me trying to recuperate from my previous Chovy vote? Am I trying to overcorrect?
Yeah, I mean,
I do have a tendency to do so.
I don't think it's Keen or Canyon.
No, I feel confident for
but
that one.
If
played
anyone
good
did like
games,
Pazer Lahens votes, I think that's fine. But
possible.
Chovy has been the most flashy.
He really has been. A possible angle here for T1 to pick up a bounty. They traded for Baron.
They will. I mean, they'll get the Cloud Drake, but to be honest, who cares? It's one Cloud Drake. It's a Baron going the way of GENG. And Guma's done the most damage, but that's because he has the ability called the Culling. And that's about the only reason in this game.
Valdez, I can't lie. I was expecting more. I was really psyching.
Y'all were.
We were psyching ourselves up.
Y'all were expecting
like this
more.
series is gonna, and it is amazing. I'm a GENG predictor.
Yeah, I'm sure you're feeling great.
But this is. Woo.
All right, Chovy. Oh, the charm again, and yeah, he'll cleanse it, but he barely gets away with his life. And yeah, at this point, GENG can pretty much do anything. They are so far ahead, over 11,000 gold. And it's early, but you can see that this is a very important series because if GENG do win this one, it could lock you first place. T1 were really their only competitors. They took out Humillado Esports this week as well. And it's weird, but I feel like this series is more one-sided even than the Humillado series was. But I guess in terms of stomps that were 2-0, it's pretty similar, I guess.
It might be expectations playing into it as well. I don't think any of us had any expectations of Hanwha. And it isn't to do with Hanwha not being a good team. It's just that very clearly both T1 and GENG are on a different level, which, you know, if you've been watching the LCK over the course of the last 2 years, is nothing new. But T1 not being able to match either is... And to this extent, GENG, I really all the praise for their gameplay in this one, and we're already winding up because it's guys, it's an 11k gold lead.
It's over. The game is done. Yeah. I'm sure, I don't want to speak for you, Chronicler, but I'm sure that even though you guys did predict for GENG,
oh no,
you're probably thinking like 55, 45, maybe even closer.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could have expected it to be this one-sided, but it is the way it is.
I know, maybe Jonah Strong.
Jonah Strong.
He does have a gift.
Yeah, you probably predicted 3-0, even though you're not allowed to do that in best of 3 series. Yeah, I think that GENG should just be applauded for coming in here against a really strong opponent and making them look a bit silly today. And Chovy, it almost looks like he took it personally as the max range. This is what I was talking about with the TF. You just have so much great target acquisition. And you layer one gold card with a charm with anything, and somebody's going to die. There it is. The Railing Gates comes in, and GENG, they want to end this game, and they want to end it now. The 2 Nexus turrets are going to go down as GENG will absolutely clobber T1 in a 2-0 victory tonight. They're playing with their food, just as we've seen GENG and T1 do many a time, but tonight it is all GENG all the way as they take them down in a 2-0.
Absolute massacre. The only way to describe this one. I don't know how many combined kills we've gotten as I gotta give it to my challenger boy.
7 out of 8 again.
He built full lethality Kalista. If it's Lahens, if it's Chovy, that'll make perfect sense as well.
I think it'll be Chovy.
It might be. It's fine. If I'm wrong again, I can live with that. I have the excuse of just being flabbergasted by this series. A win for GenG, sure, through the power of team fighting, through the power of bouncing back, of great macro. Not by doing what T1 generally do best, which is early skirmishing, early fights, early lane dominant play and objective stacking, and then just completely trouncing them at it.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? The results speak for themselves. It's round 1, 2-0 as well. And round 2, we come in here and it's a more one-sided 2-0. We thought, hey, you know, first day of spring, you know, maybe T1 are still a little bit hungover from the Worlds win, whatever. And now we're like, no, GenG are just the much better team right now, which is crazy to say. I mean, we had, you know, GenG and T1 on the same tier, but I don't know anymore. After this, it's like every time these two teams do meet up, GenG just always have their number. And with this new roster especially, Canyon making himself very well much felt, I would say, in this series. I don't think he'll pick up POG for Game 2, but Game 1 easily, and he played excellently in Game 2 as well. So, what else can you say?
And the performance of the GenG bot lane and top lane, to me, are the most of a standout. Because Chovy being Chovy, not really a surprise there. Canyon also, I think, again showing that outside of the one series against KT, he just has been on a tear. That's in game. It was what it was. It was against Senna. Don't know if we can fault him for that. But the performance of GenG's bot lane and Keen, I think they really stepped up today. I think that was what was the big reason why a lot of people thought that T1 was going to win, was specifically because of how dependable Zayas has been, regardless of lane state, and Guma and Keria.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty jarring, I will expect, for a lot of T1 fans to watch Guma and Keria make so many bot lanes look like they're not even in the game, and then come into this one and be like, wait, why isn't my bot lane doing what they always do? And it's quite simply because they met their match, right? LeGends and Pays are on the same level, and they were able to make it felt in this series. The Kalista Renata as well, given on over the priority on the Lucian, not really felt, I would say. Yes, Guma did a lot of damage, sure, but we didn't really see him take over the game in the same way that the Kalista Renata was able to. And a lot of these skirmishes as well, you could just feel the after effects of all that early game.
These mid-game team fights, this was the fight where truly T1's back was broken, unable to come back after that one. Chovy finding Faker, his Ahri again looking absolutely incredible. Malignance, it's too much power for this man. Shouldn't have that much of an impact, but he does. And I think back to the Ahri build that we used to have, where you had the Everfrost, it was the vegan build, right?
Yeah.
In theory, yeah, well, he benched in this game as well. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel a lack of damage and up utility. I feel like he just got both.
It helps that he was level 18 while Faker was level 15 at the end of the game. He was just so far ahead of everybody, to be honest. And you can see they're just saying they want to go for more kills. Very happy, big smiles on everybody's faces. GenG was also all smiles, all joking and laughing before the series as well, which is not always what you see going into a big series like this, but they brought that energy, I suppose, into this series, and it helped them out.
GenG. 2-0 and 7 kills in total in the entire series for T1. I'm sure T1, you know, come playoffs will bounce back. I think Game 1, the draft, did feel like it was pretty narrow in terms of win conditions, but I also don't think that you can just point a draft and go, hey,
no.
This, especially the second game.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say except, like, let's let the space break it down, right? Because I think they have a lot to say, especially about that draft, and that was a very one-sided 2-0, and I just want to listen to what they have to say. So guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Valdez. We do indeed have words to say here on the Saturday Showdown space. And gentlemen, we had a slight upgrade when it came to the draft, I guess. How do we feel about the second GenG victory while we kind of sit here and reel about the fact